What's up with bearded axes? Do they actually make a difference when it comes to axe throwing? Yes, they do. At least in my experience, they do. I'm going to give you guys some science behind it, and I'm also going to tell you my experience throwing bearded axes and why I think it actually makes them better flyers in some cases. Not all, but some. Let's get into the video. And we're talking about axes with beards in them that the Vikings use, because when everybody sees these, they think of the Vikings, right? Now, the Vikings had a bunch of different axe head designs. If you go check it out, you'll see all the different types of designs they would put in their axes. But we're going to cover the most common two, I think, which are the more traditional beard here on my left, and then the Dane pattern here on my right. Both these axes I've designed for axe throwing. Both of them are Grensfurstbruch, carpenter's axe and a broad axe. Both great flyers, different beards. Now we know that the Vikings used these axes, and I'm going to tell you guys in this video why they use beards in their axes. And then I'm going to tell you guys what my experience is throwing them. And I just started off with a little bit of history, the reason why the Vikings used beards in their axes. Some of this is going to be historically accurate, and then some it's going to be kind of speculation. But the speculation really isn't mine. It's just a broad speculation amongst a lot of people. And the first reason being is because it was probably cheaper. Less iron to make a bearded axe, right? You didn't have to use as much iron. So in turn, it was cheaper to make it with a beard in it. Pretty cool design if you think about it. Time and age of things being really expensive, and when you're talking about a tool and needing to use it on a daily basis, a lot of people didn't have a ton of money to throw down on that stuff, I wouldn't think anyway, so putting a beard in it was a lot cheaper. And not only was it a lot cheaper, but it was also a lot lighter. Putting a beard into an axe head makes it really maneuverable because you've taken a significant amount of weight out of the actual axe head. You guys know I've done reviews on axes, and then later on have come back and put beards in the axe head, and I've told you guys the weight difference and just shaving off what looks like not much steel, but it actually is. And it actually will save you a lot of weight if you've got a heavier axe like this one here, the broad axe, and I designed this Dane pattern in it. You would be amazed on how much weight it takes off. This thing was weighing in, I think, stock at like 4 pounds. And now we're down to 3 pounds and 4 ounces. So, you know, it was over 4 pounds actually. So we're talking almost a pound of steel cut off this axe head. It's a lot more maneuverable, a lot easier to manage, carrying it from here to there, throwing it.
Smashing people in the face with it.
Especially on the battlefield. Now the Dane pattern axes like these were usually used with longer handles, and the axe heads were a lot thinner. But you're going to want something a little lighter in your axe head, so that way when you make your strike, you can recover faster. The heavier the axe, it's going to be harder, and it's going to leave you open to strikes from swords and other weapons before you can even recover to make a second strike. So you're going to need something a little bit more nimble. Putting a beard in an axe head would do that. You also have to understand, too, that these axe heads were also designed for battle use in the sense, let me put the Dane pattern axe. That thing is heavier than I don't know what. Good gracious.
Show them the innovative Viking shield for axe throwing.
When you're talking about a shield like this one here,
that I designed, of course,
they would use this beard to hook onto things like a shield, pull it out of the person's hand or pull it down. Heck, if you were fighting with a buddy, you could make some type of pact where, hey, I'll run up, I'll grab the shield, pull it down, you come over top with an axe strike to the dude that we're pulling the shield out of his hand with. Not a bad little scenario there. So there's a bunch of different reasons why they used beards in their axe heads, including work, carpentry work, being able to choke up on your axe head and do whatever you need to do work-wise. And people still do it today. But you're probably wondering, Wes, that's great. We all already know that. We've done research and we know about the axe from the Viking time and why they put a beard in it. And that's just some of the reasons, guys. But I'm going to tell you why I put beards in my axes and why a lot of times they make great flyers, but in some cases they don't. That round over there is going to be swinging for a little while. Man, it is a heavy axe, but it's such a great flyer. Now, when it comes to why I put beards in axe heads, number one, they just look cool. They really do.
Best design ever.
I don't know very many people that look at bearded axes and go, oh, they don't like that design. Most people really like bearded axes. They just have a mean look to them. They do. And I've always enjoyed the design aspect and the look of a bearded axe. But that's not all it's for, of course. Weight distribution. As you guys know, I've done a bunch of different reviews and videos on axes and the weight distribution on axe heads and how it matters. Now, when we're talking about the Gränsfors carpenter's axe here, we'll throw it into the target really quick so I can go grab the other one.
What's better than a Swedish axe? 2 Swedish axes.
And I purposely threw it low. I was not hitting this handle. I just wasn't. As you can see here, we got 2 Gränsfors carpenter's axes. This one is stock. I did rehaft it on a handle, but it's stock. And I did the design in this one, so here's the difference here. As you can see, I took a lot of steel out of this axe head, and I shortened the handle down and thinned this one down a lot more. To be honest with you guys, I've told you when I did this design work into this one, I prefer this axe like this. This length, the beard, and I even put a little bit of a swoop in at the top, as you can see up top there. See it? Towards the toe, I swept it up a little bit. Not only do I think it's better for axe throwing, but I also think it's better for work too. I've used this chopping. I know it's not a chopping axe. I'm just saying, just to kind of get an idea how it felt. A little bit of like, you know, carpentry work on a log, just kind of like taking off the bark and stuff. I prefer it like this. I think the shorter handle with the beard makes it a lot more maneuverable. Okay. Now, when we're talking about axe throwing and we're talking about beards, this situation right here, I've proven that putting a beard in this axe head has made it a better flyer. I said that when I did the design in this one up close, it feels more like a competition throwing axe, where this does not. This feels like you're throwing an actual work axe, where this one doesn't. When we go back to distance, double, triple rotations, I've told you guys that this thing wobbles its tail off a lot at a triple rotation, not so much at a double. Now, this one here is very controllable at double rotations now. It flies really well for a double rotation. It's got a little wobble at triples, but all in all, putting a beard in this axe head has really improved the flight. And that's where I say that putting a beard in an axe head actually works. Another axe that I have is the Husqvarna carpenter's axe. I didn't grab it. Maybe I should go grab one. I don't have a stock one. I'll go grab it anyway and show you guys. Hang tight. Throw those in there to the right. I'm not getting close to that one. No, I'll be right back. I'll go grab the Husqvarna. Now, I don't have a stock Husqvarna axe anymore because I've done modified all of mine and I have no stock ones laying around. But I'll show you guys this one here, which is one that I heavily modified. And I'll be honest with you guys, this Husqvarna axe right here is probably one of the best designs I've ever done in one. It just is. This thing is awesome. And that spider's back and he's about to crawl on my lens. Man, get out of here. It's a jumping spider. He will not.
See, no one believes me, but that was Loki's doing. Shape-shifting pain in the ass.
Spiders. This thing is awesome. It really is. It flies really well. I was able to keep that straight bit design like you normally get in a carpenter's axe with a huge beard cut in it. And I've also done some work in here where the lugs were back to the pole. As you guys saw when I was holding it, this thing is just nasty weighted. I mean, it's like literally, I'm barely putting my finger on it. And look at that. I mean, perfect weight. Perfect weight. You would think that with this big axe head, it would be tipping forward. Nope. The weight distribution on this thing is incredible. It really is. And I chalk that up to a beard. Almost every single Husqvarna carpenter's axe that I've ever got, I've always put a beard in them because they make better flyers. They do. They're not the best at like really long distance, like quadruple rotations, but at triples and in, if you do something like this with a Husqvarna, thin that handle down, it's still got a little weight to it, but man, it makes for a great flyer. Putting beards in axe heads can adjust that weight for you to where maybe you're able to throw it for a single and double, but at a triple rotations, it's uncontrollable. Try putting a beard in it. Sometimes that will fix your wobble and fix your wrist too. Taking a little weight off will not only make it lighter, but it also sometimes fix the weight distribution in the axe head so you can get that triple rotation. Now I know you're probably thinking, well, Wes, that's great and all, but what happens when it goes bad? Let's talk about that now. Sometimes when you put beards in axe heads, not only will it affect it as far as flying goes, but it'll also affect penetration.
Oh, my favorite part.
You have less weight in the axe head. So when you go to throw your axe in the target, you're going to see that maybe sometimes putting a beard in it affects that penetration and it doesn't sink as deep. I will tell you, throwing these two here, this one does sink a little bit deeper the way it comes stock, where this one doesn't go as deep into the target. So you'll have to give up, sometimes you'll have to give up penetration. It really depends on how heavy the pole is and how thick the lugs are and how much weight you got in the center of the handle. But it's negligible with these two. I think it is anyway. I can throw them both and get about almost the same amount of penetration. But in some axes you won't. You can see upwards of maybe 3/4 of inch of less penetration with a beard in it than you did before you put the beard in your axe head. So if penetration is something you're concerned about, then you may want to think about before you put a beard into your axe head. Or buy two. If it's cheaper axe, buy two. Put a beard in one, leave the other one stock, and throw both of them and see what your penetration looks like after your testing's over. Putting a beard in an axe can also affect the way that it flies, right? You could have a pretty decent flying throwing axe, and then putting a beard in it just adjusts the weight so much that it's not a good flyer anymore. I've seen that happen before. Sometimes when you have a throwing axe and you put a beard in it and it doesn't fly well, you're going to have to do other things to the axe head to now fix that beard. Maybe it means taking some weight off the pole, thinning the pole down, trying to make the front of the axe maybe a little bit heavier, because maybe now all the weight is in the back, or maybe it's more centered and you want it more towards the bit. So putting a beard in an axe doesn't always make it a great flyer. It can hinder flight. You also have to understand too that sometimes putting a beard in an axe can affect performance if you're going to use it as a work axe, right? You're not going to have all that material where the beard is to drive the bit if you're using it as a chopper, or maybe you're using it as kind of like a dual purpose chopper slash splitting some smaller logs. It may not work the greatest with that. I will say that it really depends on you, right? A lot of these axes always depends on the person. Something that works for me may not work for you and vice versa. I could get this axe right here, make all of the adjustments and modifications to it that I think it needs, and it could be the best flyer, or at least I think it's the best flyer. You could come over to my house and grab this and throw it and go, man, this thing is horrible for axe throwing. I don't like it. That's a possibility. Different styles of axe throwing can change the way an axe flies too. It's not just the beard. So keep that in mind. Sometimes people will say you can do this and do that and it makes it a great flyer. But I always try to tell you guys in these videos when I do stuff like this that it's a good flyer for me. I'm not saying it's the best flyer out there for everyone, but for me it's good. Try it if you want to. Like I said before, if you're interested in putting a beard in your throwing axe or your regular axe that you use for work, try it out. I've had some pretty good success with my Viking Bearded Axe that I used to sell on my website. Had a lot of people buy that thing and use it for bushcraft. It's not the best bushcraft axe. It isn't. But it's really good for axe throwing and for work, and people have used it for both, and they really liked it. Once I put my modifications in it and did what I did to it, almost everybody that bought one came back to me and said they really liked it. So try different things out. Maybe get an axe that you have, get two of them, put a beard in one, not in the other, and throw them. See which one flies better. Try pushing the limits of both of them too. Don't just stand at a single rotation, even though you will see a difference, in my opinion, at a single rotation. You really need to push the limits of these things to see where some of these modifications really perform and where they really shine at. Sometimes I put beards in axes before and thrown them at a single rotation, didn't notice anything until I got back to double and triple rotations. Then I was like, wow, I see the difference. So you got to keep that in mind as well. If you like making modifications axes and you want to do something different to your axe, that's something really easy, put a beard in it. It's extremely easy to put beards in axe heads. Just make sure you go slow. Don't heat it up to where you ruin the tempering on the edge. Try it out. See if it works for you. I will say this. If you have an axe that flies really well, sometimes it's better just not do anything to it, right? If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And then other times people say I have an axe that flies really well, but I want to look a little better. I get that. I do too. Sometimes I have axes that fly really cool, but I don't really dig the design. I'm just like, man, I wish this thing looked cooler. And sometimes putting a beard in it will make it look cooler and I'll luck out and it'll fly better. But like I said, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. It's just better leaving stuff alone.
I like the saying, if it isn't broke, you're not throwing your axe hard enough.
Go into the comments section if you guys have an axe that has a beard in it and it's a good flyer. I'm interested to know what your experience is. Or if you have one that you put a beard in it and it made it a better flyer. I'm curious to know that too. These axes right here are proof that you can put beards in axes and make them better flyers. Like I said, I think the carpenter's axe is better and the broad axe is better for axe throwing like this. You might be able to put a different design in yours and make them better flyers. If you do, please let me know because I'm interested. I appreciate your support, guys. Thanks for everything everybody does to make the channel what it is. I hope you got something out of this. I do. Beards and axe heads do work, and then sometimes they don't. It's really trial and error. When it comes to axe head design and weight distribution on axe heads, it matters. And sometimes you're not going to know until you do designs like this and throw them and see what happens. I lucked out with this one. You guys saw the video on this one where I showed you how I did the design. I lucked out. This thing is a behemoth, but it's a great flyer. But I'm out of here, guys. Like always, guys, remember, it's always for the love of the axe. See ya. Remember how I told you guys I was going to take really bad axe heads or really bad reviews and kind of put them on display for everybody? No more Mr. Nice Guy. I don't know why, but every time I see that hanging there, I think of that song. I just do. I don't know why. Make better axes. Wouldn't have to hang this stuff. Oh, I'm sure this will get bigger. I'll probably have to like wrap it around the tree. It is what it is. I'm not going to just shy away from that stuff. You guys know that. Yeah.